Today, I'm joined by a good friend of mine, the owner of Cutting Edge Axe Throwing. You might have seen him back here on previous episodes. He's been very low-key back there. Sebastian, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Sebastian, if someone's never heard of you, how would you describe yourself to somebody?
Yeah, I'm Sebastian. I throw sharp objects for fun. It's great. Yeah.
How does somebody even get into that? You know, how does somebody get into knife throwing and axe throwing? Where did the love and passion for this begin?
All right. So when I was like maybe 11, 12 years old, I really liked Naruto and a lot of anime. And I was seeing all like the ninja stars and the throwing knives in there. And I was like, I can do that. So I would just kind of start throwing whatever I could, whether it be scissors or screwdrivers, steak knives. I'm not recommending that people go, do this at home, but I would try it out and do it myself. And then, fast forward a couple of years, my now wife brought me to a place like Cutting Edge, but in New Jersey for my birthday. And I thought it was totally awesome. I had the time of my life. It was like one of the best birthdays I ever had. And, now a couple of years after that, after COVID, I wasn't working as much and I wanted to go back. I never really had a chance to go back. And I found out they had a league, joined league, and it kind of spiraled out of control from there. Amazing,
dude. Did you get into a lot of trouble as a kid when you were throwing things?
A couple of holes in the wall. Yeah, in my room. So a bit of trouble here and there, but nothing too crazy.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in to the Mike Squires and Friends podcast. You can support by subscribing on YouTube or downloading on your preferred podcast platform. And definitely go do that because it helps us grow and I can have more incredible guests on the podcast. The Mike Squires and Friends podcast is proudly sponsored by DistroKid. Looking to broaden your musical horizons as an artist? Discover DistroKid. With its smooth and rewarding music distribution platform, DistroKid offers unlimited uploads while ensuring artists retain 100% of their royalties and earnings. Join the community of over 1 million artists who trust DistroKid to distribute their music across major platforms like Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, TikTok, Tidal, and so many others. Having personally used DistroKid since 2018, I can attest to their superiority amongst distribution services. Collaborating with fellow artists has become effortless, especially with the ability to easily send splits of songs, streamlining the creative process. With the DistroKid app, accessing these benefits is now more convenient than ever. Safely sign up or log in with two-factor authentication, upload releases on the fly, monitor earnings, and withdraw funds from your DistroKid bank. Stay updated on royalties through push notifications, effortlessly share hyperfollow links, manage account details seamlessly, and track streaming stats from Spotify and Apple. Additionally, explore Mixia for professional-grade mastering, DistroVid for music video distribution, and Instant Share for secure file sharing with collaborators, producers, and more. The DistroKid app is available on both iOS and Android. Download it today from the App Store or Google Play Store to revolutionize your music career. Visit distrokid.com/VIP/Mike Squires to get 30% off your first year membership. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of Mike Squires and Friends. At what point do you find that, I want to turn this into a business and try this out myself?
When I was playing in league, I was seeing there's other groups and other parties happening around me too in the space that I was. And I saw it and I really enjoy how happy this makes other people that come in. And how happy it made me feel when I went for my birthday. So much so that it 5 or 6 years later that I made it a point to go back and do this again. Even though I only did it one time at this one place. And I want to try to bring that same kind of joy and the same kind of feeling and energy to my place, to my business.
Yeah, it's funny because I was there recently, and my girlfriend and I talk about it a lot, actually, because we had so much fun there. And there's something I don't know whether it's relaxing or stress relief or there's something very satisfying about throwing an axe at a target, dude. I don't know what it is, but it just became a very enjoyable experience.
I'm glad you had fun. He did great. I don't know if you saw the reel of yours, this is for America, and just nail the bullseye. You just got there.
Well, let's talk about that though real fast and then I want to get back more into your story. But so we're doing the warm-ups and I'm doing very great. I'm doing great in the warm-ups, and Sarah, my girlfriend, is not doing great. Axes are hitting the ground. It's not even sticking to the board. Then we get into the competition of it. And it's cool because you have this iPad there where you can keep score and everything.
Yep.
Sarah smoked me 4 times in a row, dude. On the actual, when it came time to actually get it done and perform and, you know, compete, it was done, dude. You know what I mean?
It happens more often than you think.
So this could be a good transition into talking about you competing, right?
Yes.
You know, so what does it look like? When do you start competing? What does this look like? How do you know what I mean? Because I know nothing about axe throwing and knife throwing leagues. Like, you know what I mean? So like, do you practice for this? Are there certain things? Just as somebody who knows nothing about anything, try to explain this to me.
All right. Well, I'll give you 2 versions.
Okay.
Of this story. One is your conventional trajectory, and the other one is a unique story of someone that I know.
Okay.
And so ideally, you know, kind of like what I did. I went one time. I thought it was awesome. You know, went again, joined league, and just kind of dip your toes in it. There's things that are a little bit more local to you. And if you want to expand that, you can also travel, whether you want to drive to something or you want to fly to something. And most tournaments are open to anyone, right? You would just end up getting like a player ID, you're entered, you did your entry fee, and you see how well you do, right? And if you do well enough throughout, you know, league seasons and your tournaments throughout the year, you can qualify into, you know, World Axe Throwing or World Knife Throwing Championships. And then, you know, best of luck. Have fun. Maybe you end up in the finals. We'll see what happens, right? But one story is a little bit interesting.
Tell me about
Actually,
it, dude.
my son, one of my son's godmothers, right? She never did a league. I think maybe threw once or twice and decided we're going to do a tournament, and we prepped for 2 weeks and she went. It's a double elimination tournament. She went 0-2, had the time of her life, and she still participates and competes today, and she's crushing it. She is totally awesome. I don't know if I can like name drop people.
You can name drop
Okay,
anybody.
great. Thanks. Yeah, this is Natalie.
Oh, yeah.
My son's godmother.
She's the Happy Gilmore of
yeah, just dropped on in and just is now dominating the scene. And
That's
she's totally
insane,
awesome,
dude.
and I'm really proud of her.
So tell me the story, because, you know, I actually don't know the story, but he's been hanging out. Well, I guess technically it's you hanging out. What's the deal with the split, dude?
Okay. So actually, a few friends of mine are in Lake George for another tournament, and we're hanging out at this house, and we're, you know, a lot of axe throwers and knife throwers, you know, we drink a lot, but it's great. You don't have to, and we're there, we're having a great time. And I don't know how it comes up, but we start talking about stretching, and we're all like, you know, trying to touch our toes and butterflies and like, and you know, I did Taekwondo my whole life, so I'm pretty limber. So I do the split in the house, and they're like, you know what? If you win tomorrow, you should do a split. I was like, okay, I will. And I ended up winning the knife tournament, and I was like, I have to make good on my promise, and I did. And it just kind of became a thing from there. And this picture in particular is from an appearance on the Ocho. It's called it was a Commissioner's Cup, and it was a red team, blue team deal. And our blue team won. And my wife says, "Oh, you know, why don't you do a split in the picture?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So I do it. And there's a picture of everyone smiling and a picture of everyone shocked. Like, whoa, what's this guy doing on the ground? And a buddy of mine, Tommy, he started making memes of me.
Amazing, dude.
In that split, he would throw me, you know, on top of bridges, or there was a whole point where there was going to be a new commissioner, so he started like making vote for commissioner, like for me to be the new axe throwing commissioner,
But using the split
using
photo.
the split. He wasn't really nice to me about it because he used me as the O in the split, because I don't know if you can, you know, I'm pretty sure you can tell on camera I'm not exactly very tiny, so he used my body as the O.
But bro,
in vote. It was great.
so like you did Taekwondo your entire life. So how does one even get into that, dude? Because I'm even curious, and you know,
I needed better focus as a 5-year-old. Not like, well, 5-year-olds have a hard time paying attention, right? But a way to kind of channel my energy, a way to, you know, do something constructive. And so my parents put me into Taekwondo when I was very young. And that turned into me starting to, you know, help instruct class or like lower belts. And it turned into my first job.
oh, amazing, dude.
To the point where I was managing the Taekwondo school I was at. And that's what I was doing before opening the axe throwing business. I still think martial arts is a great business venture if that's what you're going for. It's just I didn't see myself having my own school anymore at that point that I was at. I still love it. I still think it's great. I want to go to class and all that, but this is where I'm going now.
Yeah, because maybe your heart's just more in the axe throwing and knife throwing from what I get. Let's talk about like the business side of this and opening it up. Like, so, you have this idea that you want to open up this spot. What's the first thing you're looking for? A location? Walk me through the process of getting set up from the idea to actually opening.
It was very difficult to get done. A lot more difficult than I feel I was ready for. And it was a lot of challenges that were kind of outside of myself. One, I wasn't starting with a lot of money to do this either, but I knew I really wanted it, and this is something I'm really passionate about. And if the saying, if you build it, they'll come. And it's been working out pretty well so far. But after getting my LLC, I was originally trying to open in New York, but everywhere was too expensive. Landlords didn't want me, or people wouldn't take a chance. So then started looking here in Connecticut, because my wife was already working here in Connecticut. And eventually the move was to move into Connecticut, which is still the case. And left and right, for about, had to be 2.5 years, it would be, send my business plan out or send a request out to see a place. And it would go, what do you want to do here? No, rejection. Or it would be, how are your other locations? Oh, this is your first one? How are your other businesses? This is your first one? So this is your first business doing something that I kind of don't want you to do here. And
yeah, I see what you're saying.
It was really hard to get landlords or places to give me a shot.
What do you think they were like? Just because the art of axe throwing does sound scary, do you think that was like something that would intimidate them?
Yes, I think a lot of places were concerned about liability or problems happening or damage to their property. But if you're in there, you'll see that there are like fox walls that are built up. So if anything is damaged, it's my stuff, not the. If you were to tear it all down, all the walls and everything behind it are the way that they were, because you're not hitting that. You're in a cage with a big wooden wall in front. Even where I am now is originally turned down. But then I got called back with an offer later. I was like, doing that.
Yeah.
I'm jumping in. This
what
is my
was that
sign.
moment like?
It was fantastic. I wasn't even here. I was in Ohio. I was at a tournament in Ohio, and everything just kind of went through so quickly, and it felt awesome. I was like, I don't even need to win this. I don't even need to place or earn any money at this tournament. I already won. This is great. My business is taken off. And then even after that, I think I was only able to open up like 8 months later.
Oh, wow.
Through all the red tape.
Well, can we talk a little bit about that too? Because I'm just curious, because like maybe there's somebody out there who's like, trying to get into their own business venture and like might be a little naive to like the process it takes to actually open a business, or some things that they might not be aware of,
Sure. Especially if you're doing anything that has to do with you have to build out your space. You have so many people that need to say, okay, whether it be fire marshals, health departments, just the city checking off or signing off on something, and these things take time. So however much time you think it's going to take for something to happen, add a couple of months for safety.
Were you getting impatient like through this process, or like was there frustration because you're like There
was definitely frustration. There was definitely moments where I was like, if I just build it and start, who's going to stop me? Honestly, was somebody going to come? I'd rather ask for forgiveness than permission.
Yeah.
At one point, but by the time I got there, where I was like really on edge, everything fell into place. It didn't get there.
Yeah.
So who knows what would have happened? But it was hard because you end up losing a good amount of money.
Yeah.
Like that, and the doubt sets in, and you have to make a choice. It's like, man, did I do the right thing? Did I do the wrong thing? And you're kind of stuck because you have a lease now.
Oh yeah, you're committed.
So it's not like you can just say like, oh, you know what, I don't want to do that. And if I did that, what was it going to do? I'm already super passionate about this. I know that I can deliver a good product and a good time to people through axe and knife throwing. So I'm going to step out of that and do something else? No, I have to see it through, even though it was hard. Even though like it's like hemorrhaging money in the beginning. And I'm glad that, we stuck it out.
Oh, trust me. As I hear you talk, like we talked briefly about this like earlier, but it's like anytime that you do any type of project for yourself, like that you want to invest into, it's a risk. You know what I mean? Like, cause there's not, you know in your gut, you wouldn't do it if you didn't know in your gut that you could make it happen. But there's still like the risk side of it because you just don't know. There is like the fear and doubt. It's like, what if I build this and it doesn't work out? You know what I mean? So what were some of the like, you know, things that you were worrying about? And now that you're here having your place for over a year at this point, it's like a year and a half going on, right?
It is.
You know, how are you feeling now?
I feel great.
Well, let's go.
Like I'm so excited. I get to meet so many cool people. Like if I didn't have this, I wouldn't be sitting here with you right now.
It's true, dude. That we met via Axe Throwing.
We wouldn't have met. We wouldn't have connected, or just all like the friends that I've made through the Axe. Not even just having the business, but through the community in general, and traveling and seeing and meeting so many people from all different types of all walks of life, all over the place. I'm almost doing a state by state world tour.
Yeah.
of Axe Throwing now, right? And if I didn't do it, it wouldn't have happened, and I don't know where I'd be, what I'd be doing now, but I know that I wouldn't be happy doing it.
What's one of the most rewarding moments that you've had of having your business so far?
Again, really, it's the friends I've made in the process. You know, like they've had my back from day one. To bring it back home, my son's godparents, Natalie and Alexis, they've like supported me through all of it when I, first conceptualized the idea that I wanted to have this, and kind of building up the brand, coming all the time, telling their friends, letting people know that I'm around, that the business exists, and then my wife doing the same thing, and then other league members that I have doing the same thing, just letting everybody and anybody know, like, hey, you should do this. This is really fun. And it makes me the biggest reward is people that come back. Like there's a lot of return customers. Like you can go, you can have fun, you never return. Or you can go somewhere, like you've been somewhere where it's like, oh, this is cool, and you've just never been there again. But it was really nice to see the returning faces, and then they're happy to see you. It's like, cool, I feel validated that they took the time to come back and do this with me again. Or they wanted to come back and do this because they enjoyed it enough to make a return.
What do you think one of the most important things in running a business is?
Organization, which I notoriously suck at, but I've had to get a little bit better with. You just have to stay on top of, when things are due, how much things cost, and knowing if I invest X amount, how much is going to come back to me. And I never really wanted it to be about money. I want Cutting Edge to be about the experience, because if it's about the experience, the money will come. But at the end of the day, it can't happen unless I'm able to stay open. So it is always
a balance, dude. Yeah, I know that balance all too well.
It's a tough balance, but it's been working out pretty well. It helps having a spouse that is a business and economics major.
That is super helpful. Yeah,
being able to help out with all those things and knowing what's going on and what to invest in, what not to, and being able to understand risks.
Has there been a moment where you had an idea and your wife was just like, "Oh, I don't know, Sebastian," or like vice versa, or like you had an idea and she's like, "I think this will work out"?
I was surprised when she thought that opening this was a good idea, because I didn't know that she would be all on board. But I don't know why I would doubt her, because anything that she does, I'm 100% buying, because I know that she thought it through.
Yeah.
And, vice versa. If I say I want to do this, I never really bring up that I want to do something unless it had to have been like weeks of thinking about it, or sometimes months of thinking about it and looking at it, researching it. How can I do it the best that I can? So if I'm like, hey, I think I want to open up this axe throwing business, she was like, yeah.
No, having a supportive partner makes all the difference, dude, because, it like in an alternate universe, it's like you have this idea and you have this passion for it. And if you like, and I'm saying this because somebody out there might have a partner that might be like a little bit of a naysayer to them. It's like, if they say no, it's like, dang, the potential of what you could have built could be dead right there. So it's like having a good support system is so important.
100% it is. But there's been times where I've always had her support, And there's times that she's also had to give me like solid reality checks.
But that's important too. You know what I mean? It's a balance. It's not, and a reality check to me is not like just saying no, like, you know what I mean? It's like, well, you know what I mean? If you are trying to do this, well, you know, you got to do X, Y, and Z, or it's like, I don't think it's going to be as easy as you think it's going to be. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. The months into the build out, or just trying to get everything done, that was very much the point where she was like on me about like, hey, like, let's zero in. You're like at level 10. We got to bring it down back to like level 1, level 2, because that's where you are. Don't forget that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh man, and it's like the slow build up. But she was there through the whole thing, and Cutting Edge would not exist without her.
Let's go, dude.
Yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit more about the competitions and things that you've done. Because you notoriously have that winning. I saw the knife at my album release party.
Yes.
That was your winning knife. Mm-hmm. Tell me the story about that day, dude.
So, really good friend of mine, Tommy, he's from Brooklyn. We also throw out of a place in New Jersey called Jersey Axe House, and we are currently the world knife throwing duels champions, or team knife throwing world champions. When they first announced that that's the newest discipline or the newest event that they have, as soon as they announced that the World Knife Throwing League announced that they were going to do that, I was in the middle of texting him that we're going to do this together, and then he just beat me to it. He goes, "We're doing this." It's like, perfect, great. We're going to be a team, and then just started winning, going to a lot of tournaments, playing in leagues, and just winning, honing our craft. And you can have two really good players who can't throw together. They just don't have the synergy, or don't have the
chemistry.
The chemistry, right? He and I have great throwing chemistry with each other, and we give each other a lot of crap all the time. I'm like, he's your best friend, so if nobody's gonna knock you down a couple of pegs, then your friend.
But it's also like a weird form of motivation too.
Sure,
you know what I mean,
right? And even prior to this, so back in 2023, we also won this. There was a tournament called the Pro-Am, and we won the team knife throwing in Pro-Am, and I won the individuals also for Pro-Am in that tournament. My opponent was him, so we won something together and immediately had to play each other in the finals as individual players. And when you watch the production, you see us throw, then we move off to the sides. The judges come out, say the scores, the players come back in and do their next set. While we're doing that, we would step off to the side, and I mean, whatever gesture you can think of, we were giving each other. Like the entire time, it was great. Like I think there's one point where you can see one of the judges kind of like laugh because they see us, because the cameras can't see us because we're
off camera.
We're off camera. It was.
So you beat him in it when it came to the 1v1?
Yeah.
Oh, do you let him live that down? Because I wouldn't let my friend live that down, dude. I'd be giving him crap all day.
I go through the moments where we're like, yeah, like I'll give him a lot of crap for it. And then sometimes I just won't say anything because I know it's in his head. That's hilarious. Like I know it's there.
So walk me through this, because I want to talk a little bit about the TV production. But before we do that, so does it come down to like a final throw, whether you win or not? Like,
many times.
Many times. So what does that look like, and how does that feel? And how, like, is it confidence, like, because you've thrown so many times that you know that you're going to be able to do it? Because it's like, for me, like, as somebody who's done it very little, I would not have the confidence. You know what I mean? But it's like, what makes a good axe thrower or knife thrower? You know what I mean?
I would associate that feeling with just being able to tune everything and everyone out, including the opponent. Including the judges and the lights and the people around you, because the difference between throwing at a local tournament or even just at a venue and throwing on a final stage while you're being recorded for like ESPN or anything like that is you can hear a pin drop, a sneeze, a whisper, and like anything. All the sounds are just because it's so quiet. And it's more nerve-wracking than if there was noise and cheering and yelling.
Because everyone's looking at you, waiting on that throw.
Staring at you. But I've also always had reverse stage fright where I can't perform unless people are watching me. So like I need eyes. I need that energy. I need that feeling for people to want to see something cool.
Being able to perform under pressure is a lost
key.
talent. Yeah, it's like, dude, I'm telling you, it's so important. And it's like, those are the moments where you need to step up and like do it, because if you don't do it, it's like
you're letting a lot of people down. Just
yeah, you know, including yourself, you know.
But I've had those moments, especially in the beginning, where you know you have the silence and everyone's watching, and you can line up, but I can just feel my heart beating so much faster. I was like, normally I'm good about getting that to subside, take a couple of breaths, get it to, you know, calm down and do it. But it was hard. Now it's a lot easier with practice. So just level-headedness and being able to just be happy either way. Like if I didn't win that game, I would have been thrilled for him that he won. And I was happy that I won. So whatever the outcome was going to be, I was excited. So if you can have that, like if you have this whole like, oh man, if I lose, I'm going to be so disappointed. Like why? Just be excited for your friend or for the guy next to you that's going to have his moment or have her moment.
And I think it is helpful that you guys are friends, because a lot of competition, it's not like that though. You know what I mean? Like a lot of competition, it's like, you know, that becomes like your mortal enemy, you know, for the time being.
Sure.
So, I mean, I like that it seems like there's a great community within like knife throwing and axe throwing and you tell me, does everybody like kind of know everybody kind of thing?
It's a very large, small world.
Yeah. No, I figured it would be based on how it sounds, because like earlier you said that you guys would all be drinking together. I'm like, oh, that's very good and healthy community base. You know what I mean? There are definitely some sports that I would imagine are not like that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. But this we'll be out at till 2, 3. Some people, some of the more wild ones, 4 or 5 in the morning, just hanging out and doing whatever. It's like, all right, cool. Now we're gonna go play. Yeah. And then they're able to just bring it back in and perform at their best. I don't know how they do that. My cutoff is 1:30. I was like, you know what? I need to be able to perform tomorrow. Good night. And then I get made fun of and laughed at and whatever.
Bro, I've been going to bed way earlier, dude. You're talking 1:30. I'm like, dude, if I don't get to bed by 11 p.m. some nights, I'm cooked. I can't even shoot a podcast the next day. But let's talk a little bit about the television experience. So where has everything been broadcasted to?
So mostly there's been ESPN2, a couple of things that have been on the Ocho. Now a lot of it gets live streamed on YouTube.
Okay.
And shared a lot, or live streamed, like YouTube, Twitch, and things like that. Let me see.
I guess, what's the difference between a normal tournament that's not being filmed and when you have all these cameras and everything? What does the production of that look like?
The night before, there's a lot that happens.
Talk to me about it.
So you have to you go down there. You have your jersey. People they're taking headshots of you or 360 things
So it's when it comes when they announce you, it's Sebastian, and then they play
and you can see all these things, right?
Oh, that's cool.
Or on the playback that they stream, they'll cut away to all these things that you prepped the night before. And you also have to you're not really talking to your opponent as much. I think during the actual tournament or the gameplay, there's a lot. People are a little bit more relaxed. They're able to just kind of hang out with each other and play. Versus if you've ever seen axe or knife throwing on YouTube or on TV, those guys they're super stoic, no emotions, just dead serious doing their thing. But we're also timed a little bit more. We have to make sure that these games are done in X amount of time. Not because it's a part of the rules that they have to be done in X amount of time. It's that we only have these cameras and this production company for however much time. So we have to try our best to stay within it. And the other part of it is it's just when you walk out, there's so much light on you, right? We have the production lights here, and it's just so much more, and it's just beaming right on you. If you look up, then your vision is done. You can't see the target correctly, so don't look up. So you'll see a lot of times everyone's looking down at the ground. Then you look at the target, go grab their stuff, look at the ground, but they're just trying to avoid the lights.
It's something you wouldn't even think about, dude. You just if you were somebody watching in, you just think they're in deep thought right now.
Yeah. It might be, but it's really about not looking up at the lights, because the lights are saying everything that's going on.
I'm watching on there, I'm like, dang, Sebastian's going through it right now, and it's really, he's just trying not to be blinded.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's funny, dude. So how do people judge these things? You know what I mean? Are there judges? Are there hosts?
There are judges that have to be, you take a certification test to be a judge. And then if you've been doing it long enough, sometimes you can be what is a head judge. Like you make all the second opinion calls, or there are like the overall, like the head judge of the World Axe Throwing League and the head judge of the World Knife Throwing League, that they're the ones that are doing those finals that are, produced and shown or either streamed or on TV. Yeah, I don't think those people change out too often, but every now and then.
Tell me a crazy story from all your years of doing this now. What's a story or a silly story that pops into your head that, maybe you could share of just an experience, or maybe it was a moment that didn't go right, or maybe it's a moment that did go right.
Moments that won't either go right. Shoot, who's your audience?
Well, like for this?
Yeah.
Just a bunch of people that I think, who are you guys? No, I think it's a mix of, we got the time now, dude. I don't know how to turn the volume off on it, so it's been ringing off in every podcast. But no, I think it's I have a lot of music people that follow because I have a lot of artists on, but I think there's a lot of people that are just interested in business in general too.
Yeah. Damn, I wish I wasn't so tame. But yeah, there's just times where really fun, interesting, other than a lot of the mean things I've said to some of my best friends while we play on recorded games, but I just had a lot of fun meeting a lot of really cool people. Oh, you know what? I don't know if you watched Criminal Minds or SWAT.
I've definitely seen some of it.
Yeah, but there's a guy, he plays Hondo on SWAT, or Detective Morgan on Criminal Minds, Shamar Moore.
Okay.
My wife loves Shamar Moore, and I don't blame her. He is very handsome. And he was playing in a cornhole tournament in South Carolina while we were down there, and we found out that he's there, and we see him, and she just sprints. I've never seen her run so fast to go say hi to somebody. And we got to hang out, take pictures with them. It was cool to just meet a celebrity doing something else.
Oh yeah, right? That is really cool. And in my head, very random. You know what I mean? I would, you know what I mean? Because I wouldn't expect that.
Yeah.
So that's another question. When you do these tournaments, there's a lot of other things going on too.
Some of them.
Okay.
Yeah, not all of them. Things that happen at big event centers, or there might be other things happening. Right, but most of these tournaments happen at other axe throwing places. For example, I have one coming up in November, and appropriately, it's named the Connecticut.
Oh yeah, I was going to bring it up. So let's talk about that now, dude.
Sure. Connecticut's taking place November 1st and 2nd, and people from all over are going to come by. I have we have to throw everything. There's the hatchet throwing, knife throwing, team throwing, big axe, spread over the 2 days, and we have a food truck coming to do that, some vendors, and it should be a great time. I'm expecting it to be anywhere between on the low end, 60 people, the high end maybe just under 100.
Oh, nice.
To come and compete. I'm hoping to really push for that. People from all over the region, and maybe a couple sprinkled throughout the country want to come by, and we're gonna have a great time.
Yeah. One thing I want to bring up too is what I remember now from my experience. Knife throwing is a lot harder than axe throwing.
I would say so.
Oh yeah, well, at least for my dude. I think axe I was hitting maybe, we'll call it 80% of my throws. I think it might have been more, but I'm gonna just say a conservative 80%. My knife throws, I think I was hitting 15%, 20%. This is tough, dude, because I guess just a little the less surface area where you can strike,
Right.
So how does one become good at it? Because there's techniques. I know from the time that I spent with you there, there's almost and I you know what I mean? There's an art to how you throw. You know what I mean? So it's where do you learn these techniques? And how? Where are you learning on YouTube, or how are you finding out?
I spent a lot of time also just from when I was younger and doing this, I spent a lot of time on YouTube, how to throw a knife. You see all these different videos and this, and you just kind of end up honing your own technique and style to it. And I think I've had a big advantage from doing it for years since being a kid to now, versus a lot of people who come in as adults and try to get into it, and now they have to start from that point where I had that for a long time. Or you just find people who kind of fit your profile. They're around your height. They're using maybe the same knife that you have because there's many different designs or different styles of the knife that fit within the specs that you can use. If you're throwing the wrong knife, you're never going to get good at it.
That's interesting. I wouldn't even think of something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like there's people like what's a sport like? I'm sure in things like hockey, like people have different
stick heights.
There's different sticks for it, and if they're using a stick that's not really good for them, they're not going to be as good at hockey as they are.
No, it makes sense. It does make a lot of sense.
So knives are very much like that. Axes too. But yeah, so you have to find the right knife, the right form, the right technique, and you just kind of ask people as you go around. Like I remember when I was first starting out, I would find some of the best people at whatever tournament I was at. People probably thought I was real weird or annoying or like, dude, why the hell are you asking me these things? Like, oh, how are you gripping it? How are you letting go? When are you letting go? Why? Why is your axe that short? Why is it that long? Why do you use that head instead of that one? And be like, people would answer, but kind of be like, okay, whatever. And some people would be really enthusiastic about it. It's like, oh, let me tell you everything about my
because they probably spend a lot of time figuring it out,
thinking about it, right? So you have the people who are kind of like, dude, you're asking me too much, or you have the people who are like really into it and will answer you. I've always wanted to be that person, right? But from doing that and from asking a lot of questions, and you just take, oh, you know what, that piece fits here, that piece fits there for me. You kind of develop your own style and your own technique. And then great. Yeah. And then people start asking you stuff.
Pulling into the business again too, I'm just curious, like, how do you market yourself? You know, now that you got the business up and running for a year and a half, like, what are some things that you have found like key in like promoting yourself and, you know, building the business?
Nothing has worked for me better than word of mouth. And I think that's probably the case for many small businesses where you can put yourself all over the internet. You can try to, you know, I try to do like good Instagram content, or I try to do good, like either, you know, website, email marketing. I've tried to get a little bit into now, and it works. But most of the people that come have either found me on Google and saw reviews, or their friend told them, and they're there now, or their friend brought them, right? So just kind of really building from the inside out has been the most helpful part, especially corporate events. What I love about them is you get a company to come in. You probably only have one division that's there, like their sales team or their tax team, accounts receivable, whatever, right? And they're there. They tell a different team about it, and then that team comes. And then that team comes. And so you start seeing the same company, but different parts of it. Maybe like in like a couple of months, there was one company I had, and I saw like different divisions of their company. They came like 5 times in 3 months. It was great.
No, it was great, dude.
So yeah, telling people about your experience or telling people about your time. So you have to make sure I want to make sure that people, when they come, they know they had a lot of fun. They had a great time. They know my name, and they know where they were. Because many times I'll have somebody and I'll ask them, oh, you know, who's been axe throwing before? Has anybody done this before? Somebody will say, you know, I've done it before. I'll be like, oh, where'd you go? Oh, I don't know. I think it was in this town in this state, but I don't remember. I don't want that. I want somebody that they came to me, and they know that they went to Cutting Edge Axe Throwing, or they went to Cutting Edge and they worked with Sebastian. Right.
And I think you've done a great job with that too. Because I mean, obviously the time that we've spent together, like, you're very personable, dude. You know what I mean? And it's good. Like, you're very kind, you know, and I think when my experience there for the first time was great, because when I was like, you were perfect. It was like a perfect balance of like helping us when we needed help, but like also like kind of letting us do our own thing too. Yeah. You know what I mean? Which I think there's an art to doing that, because like, it's like if you went to a restaurant and you had a waiter and the waiter's just standing over like you, it's like, it feels crazy, but then also like, you know what I mean? So there's an art to like, you know, being good. And I think my dad has always said this, people work with people because they like them. So it's like, it'll end up helping your business. Oh, this applies to anybody out there. It'll help your business if you're just a kind person and, you know, you're just there for people and you're making these good impressions, versus like if you're not giving the time of day and you don't care. That's how I felt. When I left, I felt that you very much cared. You know what I mean? Not only about your business, but about us and our experience and making sure it was the best it could be.
And that's really all I want for anybody that comes. So thank you for that. That's
Yeah.
it's really nice.
Yeah, no, but it's important too. But it goes back to like the word of mouth, because like somebody could hear my experience and be like, "Oh, I want to go try that now too." And I think there's a lot of value of putting your face out there too. I think a lot of businesses sometimes they'll like hide behind a logo or something, but it's like they see Sebastian online and then it's like, oh, he's a real person. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of value in that where it's like, oh, I saw you online. So. I think it does. I think it all kind of plays into everything.
It does, yeah. I wanted to circle back to something that you mentioned, the balance between helping out when you needed it and kind of letting you do your own thing. For any people who are trying to open any kind of business, I would review or look at reviews of people who are doing the same thing or something similar as you from all over the place, whether it be your competitors, whether it be people who are doing that business somewhere far away from you. Look at what people say about it. Of course, you want to look at all the positive things that people say about the business, but you have to look at the negatives too, and try to do as little of them as you can. Right? Because I spent a lot of time looking at reviews for places. I mean, all over, whether they be franchises or independently owned places or whatever. And a lot of the things would be one of the reviews I saw a lot were, the instructor showed us what to do and I didn't see them for an hour. And you notice that those are like the 3, 2, 1-star reviews. And then other times I would also see a lot of reviews. I was there on a first date and our instructor was there with us the entire time. I felt like it was like third wheeling us, right? So you just have to be good at seeing what people are there for, what they want to get out of it, and being able to read people. If you can do that, like I have groups that come in and they want to throw a couple of times, grab a couple of drinks and take pictures. If I can give them that, they're going to have a great time. You have other groups who come in and they want to compete and they want to play a bunch of games and have that glory feeling of yeah, I freaking won. If you can give them that, they're going to have a great time and they'll be back, right? But if I try to do this event with this person and this event with this person, both of these people now didn't have fun. They didn't get what they wanted out of it. And the challenging part is sometimes you have a mixed bag, right? Especially again, either the bigger birthday parties or the bigger corporate events where you'll have a couple of people who are one way and a couple of people who are the other. And now you're trying to balance and juggle, making sure everybody got what they wanted from coming. And that just takes practice. There's no trick. There's no formula to make sure.
Just being able to read the room
and deliver.
Yeah. No, I think that's great advice and I think that's very applicable to any type of business, dude. Being able to read the room is so important. We did a podcast recently with one of my friends who's a photographer and kind of the exact same thing, because you don't want to overstep and be in someone's face if they're trying to relax for a second. So yeah, just being able to read the room is great advice for anybody out there. I'm going to start pulling this to the end zone. I want to know, Sebastian, what's one of the most, maybe one of the hurdles that you've had to face in maybe more recent times that you feel like you overcame and because I know there's a lot of challenges within business and it's a lot to figure it out. And, there might be somebody else that's listening right now that might be in a hurdle of their own trying to figure it out.
Yeah, the biggest hurdle is getting people to know and getting people to come. And the way I've noticed to try to overcome it was to use my space as more of an event space too, right? To really try to utilize it for that. Because just trying to do axe throwing there is cool, but there's only so many people who are going to try that every week or try that, this month. And I think summer is a big hurdle. Summer is really hard for indoor activities because people are going out, people are going to beaches or away and visiting family and all that. So the way I've kind of been able to bring that in is I had a speed dating event recently.
I did see that online. Yeah.
And it went over really nicely. It was a lot of I had a lot of fun. I hope the people that came had a lot of fun. Actually, the funny story about it is the people that operated the speed dating event there were going to step away from doing event speed dating, right? But then they came back to me and were like, hey, we got really good feedback about your place. So we're going to be back. So it was original because I had 2 events planned. One happened, and then they told me that they were canceling the second one because they wanted to step away from events. But now we're going to do it again because people had a lot of good feedback from it. So I feel really good.
No, that is a great feeling. And you know what? Maybe that's another thing we could talk about too, is like all the different types of events that you've done there, like all the different like basically things like you've done birthday parties. I know that you've done a divorce party in the past. We spoke about that. You know, like what are some of the, like, what do you find most of the people are coming in for?
People mostly come in for, I get a lot of families, like a family day, and I get a lot of corporate events. Those are the 2 that really come in for axe throwing. Other events that I've had were the speed dating, also stand-up comedy.
Oh, interesting. What does that look like?
It's pretty great. We have this group. It's called Don't Tell Comedy, and how they've been doing it is they give you a date, time, and a town, and you can buy tickets to their show, but they don't tell you where.
Makes sense with the name,
right? Day of, you get an email saying, "This is the address. This is where you're going for tonight," and you show up. So people that buy tickets for Stamford at 8:00 on whatever this Friday, they don't know that they're coming to Cutting Edge Axe Throwing. So I might get a lot of people who may have never seen or never wanted to go axe throwing before, but to at least come into the space, they see this stand-up show, offer them some kind of special for when if they ever come back, and hopefully I can get them to come back for an axe throwing event, whether it be any reason, friends night out, family day, date night. And I've had that happen a little bit, but they wouldn't have known I existed unless they were following that group.
No, it makes a lot of sense. Sebastian, every time I have a guest on, I always ask them what their message to the world is. One thing that you would want to be remembered for or known for. What is that thing for you, dude?
I want to be known for making people happy, or being part of what makes people happy. And I think Cutting Edge is kind of my vessel to make that happen. And what I hope for people is that they get to find that thing that makes them happy. I want to wake up today because I get to go and do this. And that for me is axe throwing. For you, it seems like it's you do so much stuff. But like
more
you know
recently,
what I'm talking about?
Yeah, for me more recently it's been like the community activities.
Sure.
Like I've like found a lot of purpose in that, and I see the joy it brings other people.
Yeah. That. Like just things like that. I get to get up every day and do this. And it makes me happy, and I see it makes other people happy.
It's a huge blessing, dude, you
right?
know, being able to do what you love.
So I hope all of you watching either have that thing or find that thing soon, because it is really, really rewarding.
Well, amazing, dude. If someone wanted to come down to Cutting Edge Axe Throwing and book, how could they do so?
Yep, you can head on to cuttingedgeaxe.com and make a booking right there. There's a big yellow book now button. You just pick your date, pick your time. If you have any questions, you can always contact me through the website, or you can give me a call. I'd be happy to help out with any questions or help you, get started.
Yeah, and what's your social media too? So if people want to follow you on there.
Yep. So at Cutting Edge Axe Throwing, a bunch of underscores. I probably need to change that so it's easier to find. But you'll see this logo, right?
It lives in our set too. It's right back here.
The yellow arches with the axe going in there. Yeah. And you can find me on Instagram and Facebook.
Let's go. Well, Sebastian, I want to thank you for coming on the podcast, dude. I think there's a lot. I appreciate you sharing your stories. I think there's a lot of good gems for businesses out there too, and just sharing your experience.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course, dude.